Hi there and welcome to part 4 of my dress sew along, and this week it's all about a review of some of the things that I could have done better on my dress. So without much further ado, let's see what that dress looks like on. Here we go. So what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I actually didn't think it looked too bad once I'd finished it all off. And I'll be absolutely honest with you, that dress did set my frustration levels off quite high. So I'm going to let you know some of my tips once I complete a project. And the first one is I put all of my parts, all of the, remember the very first video when I traced all the patterns out? Well, I put it into a Ziploc bag with the actual pattern so I have everything all together. And also because I am still very new to garment sewing, I've only been doing this like a year or two. I kind of move off and onto it because this is the part of sewing that frustrates me for some weird reason, is the actual garment making. I can go for days, months, years doing quilting, but when it comes to garment sewing, it's something that I really want to master, so it's something I always come back to and start visiting. Now the next tip that I do, I think you're probably going to like. So I purchased a book, and this is literally for all of my sewing stuff, any of my projects, and I number everything. Every single page gets numbered and it's all on blank pieces of paper. And what I'll do is anything I make, I put into this book so I have a reference of the stuff I make and any little tweaks that I want to change on a project for next time. I will basically do a little sketch of the dress that I made, and then I'll put some of the features of the dress onto the page. Also write down the number of the pattern and what the pattern was called. And on the next page I'll put like a little swatch of the fabric that I used for this dress. And then I would list the brand, the type of dress that I made. So there was 4 different types of this dress. And the size that I made, which is size 20, and it was far too big, but I'll talk about that later. How many pieces, whether it was an easy make, which is yes, but whether it was a quick make, and I would say no, because there were so many parts of this dress, because it was 4.5 meters to make this dress. It was a lot of fabric. And would I make it again? Yes, I would. And then the next section below is my notes section for the next time I do make it. So these are my notes, and I have no idea when I would next make this dress, but when I do next make this dress, I have these notes for myself. So I tell myself that I don't want to make the belt because I have a belt that is, I just use one that's a store-bought belt. What I would make the size in the next time that I would actually make it. Also a point on the materials that I use, which I'll explain about in a second. Also, I would like to try these different types of material, and also I wrote a note about to avoid plaid, which I would talk about in a second. So any notes that I have on making this garment, I would put it down in my notes section, and for next time when I want to make it, I have all of my stuff that I need to remember, because you can't remember everything. It might be a year when I next decide that I want to make this dress again, so, or it could be next week, who knows. So this is what I use this book for, and it's very handy. So the plaid material that I used really frustrated me because I didn't realise, well, I didn't really look at the pattern properly, because if I would have looked at the back of the pattern it would have showed me. So I made dress C right here, and see all these lines are creases. So obviously where I had cut all of them plaids up, they weren't all matching all the way across, because this whole back section wasn't just one piece, it was in multiple different pieces. So this is something you've got to bear in mind when you're using some sort of a print, because all of these seams aren't going to match up, and if you do want them to match up, you're going to use even more fabric, getting them prints to line up with each other. So be very, very mindful, unless what I could have done was pieced all of these pattern pieces together and just cut it all out as one section, so I didn't have all of these seams. So you've really got to think about things when you are garment sewing. Understanding construction of garments is one of the things that probably takes a little bit of time. Over time you start to like realise it starts to click in, but I think when you're a beginner and you just want to make a dress, you don't think about your materials that you're going to be using, the seams in the pattern and how it's all going to come together, and you only really find about a load of these things through trial and error. Obviously this was like the first dress, and even with like really good seamstresses, they will have to make that one dress to see what it ends up looking like, and they would probably make another 2 or 3 dresses after that first dress. So please don't be hard on yourself when it comes to garment sewing. You do have to make that same dress at least like 3 times. It's very rare that you can actually make that one garment and it would be like, you know, fantastic and amazing. So if you're a beginner, go really easy on yourself. Another thing that really gets to me and really frustrates me every single time I go to garment sew is the fact that I use the wrong fabric all the time. There's always something about the fabric choice that I use, and this one was kind of like a plaid kind of like look, because I wanted to go for a Christmas vibe, because we're coming, like, I'm like 10 days away from Christmas right now if you're watching this, just an FYI, and I wanted a Christmas themed dress, and it was plaid and very Christmassy, kind of like looks like it feels like a scarfy material. It's kind of like a fleecy kind of material. It's lovely, but I don't know, it kind of like just wasn't working for this dress, and I really should have, like, it does tell you on the back of the pattern, it tells you on the back of the pattern which materials work for the dress that you're actually making. So it's a mistake time and time again that I keep making. Another minor error that I keep on doing wrong is letting my frustration get the better of me when it comes to garment sewing. Like, I know I'm going to get frustrated and it's going to, like, I mean, and I was telling you guys in the YouTube video, make sure that you overlock all your seams, don't be lazy, and like, halfway through making this dress I was like, oh, this is going to turn terrible and it's going to be a complete failure, this YouTube video. And I didn't overlock some of my sleeves, the bottom of my sleeves, because I was like rushing it to get the YouTube video done and stuff, and then I was losing faith in like the whole project and thinking it was going to look awful, because I'd got my mind set on the fact that all these seams at the back was knocking off all the lines of my material, and I thought, oh, just whatever, like I'm just gonna like get it all made and stuff. But when I actually tried the dress on at the end and I saw how amazing it looks, and now I'm not going to be able to put it on the washer because I told you guys, like, don't make the same mistake I did and don't overlock them seams, and I did just that. I didn't do the seams properly on one of my sleeves and it's not going to wash very well. Another thing that I need to get a grip of is sizing of the garment that I'm making, because I always end up making the size 22, which is the really huge size, and I am not that size. And on the back of the pack it does tell you sizes of your bust and size of your waist, and if I wasn't lazy I could probably have made it a little bit smaller and not have it so oversized, but at the end of the day it did look fantastic in the pictures. Come on, it did, didn't it? Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below. Did the dress look good? Another thing I could have done is probably gone for like a smaller print rather than the big print, because like if you're making it on a smaller scale, like smaller print scale, then them seams wouldn't necessarily have like jumped out so much. I'm just thinking it would look really cute in cherries. I should make a dress with cherries on it. That would look so cute. I do want to make this dress again for sure, but the thing is, it is like 4.5 meters, so I try and like with this fabric it was $5 a meter, so it wasn't too bad on the budget, because You can go as high as like $20 a meter sometimes on clothing fabric, and could you imagine how much that dress is going to cost? And I'm sure I wouldn't want to make any mistakes on that one, would I, if I was spending that much money, like 20 bucks a meter. So yeah, for this one, it's definitely another bargain basement buy. If I can find some more fabric for like $5 a meter or less, that would be perfect, and I will make this dress again in a heartbeat. One of the good tips for you guys is to get that mannequin and use a mannequin. It's definitely really useful thing to have if you are garment making, and if you're going to be garment making like for a long time, it's definitely a perfect investment for you. And no, I'm not sponsored. I'm not sponsored to sell any mannequins, unfortunately. I really hope I've given you some amazing inspiration to get sewing yourself. Go out there and have fun and enjoy it. Oh, and wait, don't forget, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss seeing my next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye!